Good morning, everybody. I'm showing about 10:03 on my time, and we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and be muting everybody on the conference line so that we don't get any feedback coming in. But I just want to thank you for attending our customer success webinar this morning. Today's topic we'll be covering CRM content, which is a native document management system to the Force.com platform. My name is Nicholas Rail. I'm a business analyst with Launchpad. And if you have any questions or comments or concerns after this webinar, feel free to reach me at my email below, nrail@launchpadco.com. So some of you might have been wondering what CRM content is. You might have done a little bit of research, seen some of the information we sent out, but in short, CRM content can help you organize, share, search, and manage your documents within your organization and across key areas of the Force.com platform. CRM content can manage all types of documents. This includes anything from the Microsoft Suite to audio files, video files, web pages, and even can link to Google Docs and other websites. So CRM content really lets you manage anything and everything that you have in terms of documents. CRM content really leverages itself in making many tasks user-friendly, and some of these tasks include tasks like organizing, where rather than keeping documents hosted on someone's computer and having to contact someone to email them, they can be put into the platform and hosted in various libraries where administrators can create up these libraries based on any classification such as department name, job function, or team, and then configure user permissions within the library to balance access to that content. So you can have authors who are people who are contributing documents and making changes to those documents. You can have people who are just readers who can read the documents, download the documents, and then use them in that fashion. And then additionally, you can just set up administrators who are people who are just there to administer the library, but don't actually have to manipulate the documents in any way. CRM content makes searching very easy because it uses a very powerful searching tool that scans the entire body of the document for key terms. So when you're doing searches, it's no longer just looking at tags or titles or any other information attached to your documents. It's actually scanning through the entire document and finding those keywords for you. Additionally, it allows you to subscribe to documents. So as documents are updated or new versions are uploaded or people are downloading and viewing, you can subscribe and pick which pieces of those information you want to be notified about. So that way you can know when information is being accessed and being used within your organization. Additionally, CRM content allows you to preview these documents. These documents can be previewed, blown up to full screen. You don't need to download and then open and then view. Everything can be done natively within the platform. And then lastly, contributing is also made very easy for those users. Contributing is either uploading new documentations or uploading new versions of documents that are already existing in CRM content. And all this is done fast and easy, and it makes it very simple for you and your users to manipulate the documents that are uploaded and existing in your CRM content. And additional to all those normal document management tasks, you can review usage and provide feedback. So CRM content provides a couple of methods for determining whether content is valuable to the readers. You can do things such as featuring a piece of information, which allows it to be promoted on the main page of CRM content, or users can thumbs up and thumbs down a file or a document and add comments to create a participatory discussion on each document. So you can create and really have conversations flowing around these documents, finding out which one's most important, finding out what's most useful to you, and really start to leverage a social aspect with your documents as well. So those are the main parts of what CRM content is. So we're going to go ahead and walk through a little bit of a demo of what it looks like. So here I have a demo setup of CRM content. You'll notice that the tab up here at the top is called Libraries. Libraries is just a reference to the different libraries that you can create within your content. So if you look at this page, there's a couple of different pieces of information here that are important. First, you'll probably see is your list of current and existing libraries right here. And these libraries can be thought of akin to folders. They're just different places where you can save and upload files and organize it that way. And then additionally, like I said, you can set up permissions. So if you're working as a job developer and you have different areas, you can set up permissions where only specific users who work in that area can upload and modify the documents, but everybody can see resumes from any area in case they find a resume that matches a job in their own area. So you can really manipulate your libraries in such a fashion so that they work with your organization. Below that, we have our featured content. And this is where you can feature content and it promotes it right to the main page of libraries. And so if you have, for example, a participant who is 110% job ready, you can feature their resume, put it right here on the main page, and then everybody will be able to see that resume, click on it, check in, see if it matches any job orders that they currently open. Below that is top content. So this is just content that is being heavily used, and you can sort this by a couple of different categories. There is primarily publication date, number of downloads, rating, and the number of contents. So you can set up any of those top contents to view different subsets of that data. And then over to our right, we have information about tags, which is something we'll get into. You can tag documents as you upload them to make sorting through documents easier. Then you have recent activity and then most active contributors. Now before we walk into actually creating libraries and uploading documents and showing you how this all works, I want to show you that search feature that I talked a little bit about. So when you go to your libraries tab, there will be a new addition to your sidebar over on the left hand side where it says content search. And this content search is what I was talking about with the searching through the documents. When you put in a phrase here and you click search, it will actually sort through your documents. So if we type in startup, for example, and click search, what it's doing is it's going to search through all of your documents and will bring back your results. And so you can see here we found one result, and if we open up this document, the one thing I want to notice is that in terms of the title and the library and the tags, the key term I put in, startup, isn't anywhere on those main fields. So if we actually look at the document itself and blow this up here, we can see that this resume is talking about startups and being a social entrepreneur, and that the search actually did parse through the document itself to find those key terms for you. So even if your tags aren't set up or you don't have descriptive titles, the search tool allows you to still find the documents that would be useful to you. So let's go ahead and go back to our main libraries tab and we'll start walking through the demo of everything in here. So the first thing I want to show is libraries. We're going to go and just create a new library. And when you do this, it's going to ask you for step 1 of 3. Step 1 will be naming your library. So we're just going to call this Western Area Resumes. And at this point, we can either click Save and Close or Save and Add Members. Save and Close will finish saving your library, but it will only have one user able to access it, which would be yourself. No other users would be able to see this library. So if we wanted to add additional users, we'd want to click Save and Add Members. And here we're now presented a list of users in the system that we can then click on, click Add, and then move them over into the right-hand box where there'll be users added to our new library. And once we're done selecting all of our new users for step 2, we can go ahead and click Next. And this will take us to assigning library permissions. So after we've assigned new users, we need to select our permissions that we want to give these users. So as a default, there's 3 permissions set up, which are author, viewer, and administrator. And those 3 roles are fairly self-explanatory, but if you'd like to set up additional roles for your libraries, that can be done as well. So we're going to leave Alicia here just as an author, and we'll click Save. And we'll see now we've just created our new library down here, Western Area Resumes. Clicking on our library will take us to that new area. And we'll see here now something similar to the page we just saw, but this is going to be specific to this library itself. We'll see we've got our 2 members, which is our job developer Alicia, our Launchpad demo, which is this account or me, and we've got our permissions set up. So now what we want to do is we want to start adding content. So to adding content to this library, the way you do it is you'd find your green little contribute button up here. And this link gives you the ability to contribute new files or a website or a link. So clicking on it will prompt us to choose a file to upload. So we're going to go ahead and select this resume I have saved here. And once again, when we're finishing uploading it, we can either save at this first step and it'll be published into My Personal Library, which is a library private to only your account and no other users can see it, or you want to publish into a shared library so other users can see it. And at this point, you'll be asked to select a library. So we're going to upload this into Western, our new library. And once we do that, we're given the ability to add tags. And additionally, we've added a lookup field to a participant. So we want to look up and see if we can find Trevor to link this to his participant profile. Click on Trevor Day there. And then I'm just going to add a couple of tags here. And to add multiple tags, you just have to do a comma between your tags. Otherwise, it'll assume everything that you're typing in is all one tag. So we're going to add 2 tags, one for his job and the second for his location. And once we're done filling in our tags, our participant, what folder we want to share it to, we can then click Publish, and we'll publish that document to our library. Now, if you want, you can either view this, you can be done publishing, or you can contribute another. And we're going to contribute another one just because we have a second file that we need to upload. And we're going to walk through the same steps. We're going to publish this to our new library. And we're going to add some tags. separating them by a comma. And then we're going to see if we can find Yolanda to populate this lookup field. And then publish. Now that we're done publishing the two documents we want, we're just going to go ahead and view this content so we can look and see what we've created. So here is the content or the files page, and we can see we've got our two tags that we've added up here at the top. We've got our author, which is us, version, so if we've uploaded any new versions to that file, we can see how many. We also have a featured checkbox, so if we want to edit this and make it featured, there we go, just click on the featured link, and we go back to our libraries page. It's taking a second to update here. We'll have Yolanda's resume down here under featured content. And then additionally, you can look at, so you can preview the document. So we have our preview here. If we want to expand this into our full screen, we can see we've got Yolanda's resume filled out here. And then there's some additional information. We can click over onto our comments tab where we can write a comment on this resume. We can look at our version history, and your version history lets you download any version, not just the latest version. So if you wanted to go back and download an older version because there's some information that went missing between versions, or an older version just worked better, it's always stored there, so you're not just stuck with the latest version. You can see who's downloaded this content, and then you can see who is subscribed to this content as well. And then lastly, you can see if it's been used in any content packs. And content packs are something we'll discuss in a little bit. It has to do with delivering content to an employer. But if we go back to our resume here, we can see that we can easily add some more tags. So if we wanted to add a tag that's saying that she's a teacher, but she's a middle school teacher, we just need to type it in, click save, and it adds our new tag. And we can use these tags to search for other content in the area. So if we wanted to see if there's any other files that have been tagged with Memphis, all we need to do is click on this tag, and it'll take us to our search results once again. And then the last thing is, I had mentioned earlier, thumbs upping and thumbs downing files. Up here at the top, we have a little positive vote and negative vote symbol, and we can click on that to cast our votes for various documents. So that's the detail of the files page. So now I want to talk about content delivery. And content delivery is, step one is you create a content pack, and I'll show you all of this. I just want to overview it first and then walk through it. You create a content pack by selecting files that are available in your libraries. Then you set up permissions on when that content pack can be viewed, if it can expire, if it needs a password, and then you deliver the content pack, which produces a URL link that you can then send to an employer. And on that URL link, they can view the documents that you've selected. So going back to our Libraries tab, to create a new content pack, what you'll do is up next to the green contribute area, up here, you're going to click on Create New, and underneath that we have Content Pack. And this is going to launch a search interface where you can search your libraries for resumes and select them to be used in the content pack. So you can see up here we can select which resume we want to search by, or which folder we want to search by, excuse me. And then we can put in key terms if we want to search for that. Or if you just want to view all of your resumes, you just need to click Search Files. And searching files will just pull up all the files that you have uploaded into your content. So let's go ahead and say here that we've got two featured. So let's say we want to have our employer view these. All we need to do is click on our files and then drag them down to this bottom bar. And let's go ahead and add Herbert and George. So once you've clicked and dragged those files down to the bottom section here, and you've selected what you want, you're going to go ahead and click on Save. And Save will take you to a point where you have to name your content pack, and then you have to choose if you want to save or publish it. So I'm just going to put content pack in today's date, and we'll go ahead and publish this into our Western area resumes. Once again, we're given the option to tag and put in participant info. But now that we've created our content pack, we can view it. There we go. And we can see in our content pack we have a preview where we can click through all 4 of these documents here. So now that we have our content pack of our 4 resumes, we want to deliver that content so it's available to someone outside of the system. And to do so, we just need to click on our Deliver Content button up here at the top. This will take us into our second step. So this page is giving us options. And what we can do is we can change the name of our delivery. We can change our delivery method and our delivery settings. So our delivery method gives us 3 options. Number 1, allow recipient to view in browser. Number 2, allow recipient to download in original format. And number 3, allow recipient to download in PDF. So allowing the recipient to view in browser is kind of cool because then they don't have to download a bunch of files. Some of those files were in Word, so I don't know if I want to let them download and edit those documents or accidentally delete information, so we're going to uncheck that. And we're going to let them download those documents as a PDF. And then for delivery settings, we have notify me of first view or download. So after you send out this link, you'll get an email notification the first time that this content has been viewed, so you can make sure to know if you're sending a group of resumes over to an employer, you can know when that resumes have been viewed by the employer, so you know when to give a follow-up call, or you know if they haven't received the information and you need to give them a follow-up. The second option is remove access to content on. So this is a auto expire. So you can set it up at a specific date and time of when you'd like this content to auto expire. Now this automatically sets it for 3 months, but I think that's a little long, so I like to shorten this out a little bit. So we're going to shorten this and give them just over 2 weeks to view this information. And we'll change the time to the end of the day. And then the last delivery setting that we can choose is requiring a password to access the content. So if you have concerns about privacy of information or anything about making sure that this information isn't being seen by someone who you don't want it to see, you can require a password on your content, and clicking on the link will prompt for a password before showing the information. So once you've set up all of your settings how you like it, you can click on Save and Next. And it'll take you to your status page. And it'll say, it'll tick through, give you green check boxes of when you're done. And then it'll give you a link of where you can view these documents. So we're going to copy this link. I'm going to open up a incognito window. And we're going to take a view at what this link looks like. So if you had selected these resumes and an employer went to go view it, they'll see this page. And it looks exactly similar to the preview that you get when you're in CRM content. But they can scroll through these documents, view them one by one, zoom in, read these resumes, and as they find a resume or two that they like, they can download them onto their computer if you have chosen to do so, to let them. So say we like this, we can just click on download as PDF over here in the left corner. And we'll get a new download of this document. We can say we want to keep it. So this is what it ultimately looks like. We have some clients who use this for exactly as I've explained it. They put together content packs whenever they are presenting resumes to an employer, and it has helped them a lot with not having to track down different versions of the resumes, keeping up communication about who's job ready, where their resumes are, and then delivering them to the employers and not having to make sure the files are attached to the email, make sure you have the right files, and then send them to the employer and hope that they have the right software to view the files. They can just view everything right in their browser with a simple link, and they don't need to worry about any of the extra mess of making sure they can view those documents. So that, in a nutshell, is CRM content. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and unmute all of our lines. There we go. So does anybody have any questions about CRM content, any of the features we've covered, or really anything at all? Okay, doesn't sound like we have any questions. So I will stay around on the line just a little bit longer, but just a note, I'm recording this webinar and we'll be sending out to everybody who registered for it, as well as posting it onto our blog. So if you have any questions or want to make sure that you get a copy of the webinar, make sure you can just go ahead and email me at nrail@launchpadco.com. and I'll make sure to get you that. Or if you have any other questions or just want to say hi, feel free to shoot me a message. Thank you once again for tuning in for this customer success webinar for CRM content, and I hope you all have a great day.